Morning. It's mostly sunny. There's only a little bit of cloud. Well, today I plan on tackling this. The frost has made the squash plants die back, so I'm going to clear these beds and de-weed because it's quite weedy at the bottom. Don't know quite how much after that I'm going to get done. See how it goes. So I've opened up this compost pile, and yeah, the dry stuff on top I'm going to stick into one of the other bins. Then I'll move whatever's usable onto an empty bed, and then I can start filling it with more stuff that I'm clearing from the beds. That way I can actually use it and it won't be slightly squished like it is at the moment. So like the last time I did use the compost, I'm putting it into here, my rotary sieve, and then I'm getting rid of the chunky bits of wood. And then I end up with lovely fine compost in the bottom. So it shouldn't take me too long to do this much. So this is me burning the big twigs that just didn't compost down. Some stuff's just too chunky, so I will burn it, and then that can be mixed in with compost once it's burnt and cooled. So from this compost bin I've got, and it had sunk down to about here. I've got that, which was one of these, full. So I've got about 1.5 tubs. That will now go onto the beds, and I'll carry on refilling this one. So I'm glad I sieved out the big sticks because they just were not breaking down. They were too big. But what I did find in the compost, this is all the plastic. So the size of my hand, it's a good handful of plastic that would have otherwise gone back on the bed. So it's another reason to sieve your compost. So I'm trying to remove as much plastic as I can from the plot. I don't want brittle plastic breaking down. Well, that sun is about to disappear behind the tree, which means at this time of the year it's just gone 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, the sun goes pretty quick. You've only got a few hours of relative warmth before then it goes dark and chilly. So I've got 3/4 of the pulling up and pruning and weeding that I want to do. I'm going to try and finish it off before I go, but we'll see. Depends how warm it is, and I don't want to get too cold down here. Okay, so it's nearly 3 o'clock. I've cleared, not those 2 beds, I've cleared those beds. The last bit's just burning on there. So once that's finished burning, I'm just gonna go home because the temperature's starting to drop now. So, thank you for watching. Bye for now. Well, with clearing that stuff, I did find one more little butternut. It's very green. I don't know if it will cure well, but we'll give it a try. Just about big enough to be worth cooking once it's had a time to mature. Morning. So today I think I'm going to finish those 2 beds that the winter squash were growing on. I've pulled out most of the weeds, but I need to remove the frames that they grew up, weed it a bit better, and then it'll be ready for some manure on it. The compost I sieved from the compost bins. I think I might actually put that on the top of the stuff in the greenhouse. So I know there's obviously this compost, but then there's manure. But I think I'm going to put my plot-made compost just on top. I think that will help for next year. And then what else am I going to do today? Possibly weed another bed. I'm not sure quite how long I can spend down here, but I'll get what I can done. Well, it's supposed to be more cloudy today, but I'm getting a little bit of sun at the moment, so it's not too bad on the temperature. But I didn't feel like coming down today. But my thought was, well, even though I might not feel like coming down, if I get it done now, it means that in the spring, when all the other plot holders are busily digging over the plots and preparing it, I won't, because I'll already have it done. So I can just concentrate on growing the seedlings in the greenhouse at home. Well, that's my plan. It kind of worked last year as well. So it's a bit of a tough slog at the moment, but it should help me come the spring. Time to get on with it. So this is what the manure looks like in the greenhouse, and I'm going to try and top it with a bit of my compost. Well, it didn't do all of it, but it did most of it. Up to here, we've only got this little section that needs a little bit more on the top. So hopefully that will help everything grow well. Okay, so it's gone all cloudy now, but I've got these 2 beds weeded. I think actually next I'm going to put a bit more wood around the edge to stop wildlife kicking stuff out, so that when I top it up with a bit of manure, it's not going to get kicked all over the paths. So time for a bit of woodwork. Well, I kind of changed. So I slightly changed what I was doing. Let me show you what I've been up to. So over here next to the greenhouse, I made the raised beds slightly higher. I'm not going to fill it all the way up to the top with compost or manure, but it will stop bark chippings being kicked everywhere, because I'm going to use those to mulch. But what I've done is, you can see these blue arches. These poles were from a trampoline. I think it was from the safety surround bit, and I've hit them into the ground and then fed the thick blue pipe into it. I don't have another thick blue pipe for that middle one, but I've got a slightly thinner one and I've got a grey one. But what I'm trying to do is make a brassica cage that I can walk into for tall brassicas. So that's as far as I've got today. I've run out of time now, but I did weed the beds. So next time I come down, I want to put another hoop over there, and then I've probably got to maybe use some wood to strengthen both ends and make a doorway. But that should be plenty high enough for any tall brassicas. Because previous to that I've only had these things, and quite often the brassicas get a bit too tall for that, and it's hard to get into weed. So that's why I wanted to build something that I could actually walk into. I also moved these frames that the squash grew up over onto these beds just for the moment, just so I can do the work on the other ones. So I'm slowly getting there. I decided I wanted to work on this half of the allotment first and work my way down to the front gate. So one step at a time. I decided to pick these peppers. It's what, 4th of November? They're not going to go red, but they've grown in the last month because they're in the greenhouse. So they might not be as sweet as a red pepper, but I better eat them before they either rot or the wildlife eats them. Nice to have a little harvest. So I'm off home now. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.